Hello, hi everyone. This is Lai here from BDC Recruitment Malaysia. Hope you guys are doing well, coping well during this full MCO lockdown. On that part, it's been a while since we have done LinkedIn live session. I think it's been like 3 to 4 months since our last session, the one that was actually with RHB Bank, with Putri over there. And that's why, together with our colleagues, we decided to have a LinkedIn live session here to address some of the questions that all of you job seekers has been asking for the past months and weeks. So in today, what we do is that we're going to be handpick 5 of the common questions that have been asked and we'll address them. But beforehand, what we like to do is that let me welcome 2 of our colleagues to be joining me today for LinkedIn Live. Without further ado, I'm going to invite them right now. So here are they. So we have Mei Fang and Shuba joining us on our LinkedIn Live today. So maybe for
Hi.
both of you, it's good to,
Hello.
to
Yep.
introduce yourself and just say hi to our audience that's been tuning in on our LinkedIn Live session. We'll see who wants to start first. Shuba, Mei Fang.
Okay. Yep, I can start first. Okay. Hi, everyone. Yep. You guys can call me Shubham. Actually, I'm a technology recruiter at BTC Recruitment Malaysia. So basically, in terms of my background, I have about 6 years plus in technology recruitment. Basically, I'm more specialized in terms of technical recruitment, as well as I have experience in in-house and also external agency altogether experience in recruitment. All this while I think my entire career. So I started with customer service and then I joined recruitment. All this while I'm doing recruitment. Yeah, that's all.
Alright.
Thanks. I pass to Mei Fang.
Yeah, hi. My name is Mei Fang. Actually, I just joined BTC for about 1.5 years, slightly more than a year. So, yeah, 1.5 years of being a recruiter. So before that, I had about 7 to 8 years of experience in being an engineer, and then I went on to do my own business. But due to the pandemic, I had to switch. So yeah, here I am, a recruiter focusing in manufacturing and engineering in BTC. Yeah.
All right, thank you for it. Hi Hassan, thank you for tuning in. So a bit about myself, if some of you guys have not seen, so my name is Lai. I'm basically an employee, co-founder of BTC Recruitment Malaysia, and it's always been a passion for me to be sharing a lot of knowledge, a lot of tips, and as well as some of the motivational stories on LinkedIn, which helps to empower and hopefully will be able to motivate some of you guys, job seekers, especially during this pandemic session. And one of this session, why do we have it here is I believe some of you guys has been messaging, hey Lai, when are you going to be doing LinkedIn Live? It's been a while. So hopefully if there's any good information that you can share, please do it. That's why we had a discussion with our colleagues, both Shuba and Mei Fang. We decided that, hey, why don't we gather around some of these questions that you have and we'll try as much as possible to answer them. Who knows if some of these answers or questions are something that's been bothering you, and perhaps that with what we have shared with you, it will enlighten. And if you have any further follow-ups, please feel free to comment on the chat box. We will try as much as possible to help you to clarify some of them. All right, so that's how we're going to do. So without further ado, here are the top 5 questions that has been commonly asked. So let me share with you the first question. First, what is the best way to connect with HR and recruiter? And this is something which is very important because as a job seeker during this pandemic period, I'll be very upfront and honest with you. For me myself, being in recruitment for over 9 years, I have tried different methods from calling, from extension, from sending emails, and even take up the courage with the fear of being rejected to walk into the client's office just to say hi and to drop my name cards. There's been many methods that I've tried, and some of them has been successful, some of them have failed. But first thing first, one of the biggest challenge right now is that most of us has been working from home. For us, it's been on and off with MCO right now. Prior to this, we have been working from home for more than a month, and it's always been a challenge for us to meet with clients. So the best way is basically to communicate via LinkedIn, or if you have connections that could actually pass you the contacts of the HR or recruiters that you know, please feel free to reach out to them on this. Or the other best methods is always to use LinkedIn. But word of caution is this: everyone has their own priorities. And with people working from home, here are some of the most common things people say that is people are being very busy. It is longer hours being at work, and sometimes receiving emails or messages, it may not be as productive as it's supposed to be. So first thing that you need to do when you're connecting with HR, especially if you're dropping them an email or LinkedIn invitation, please focus on building relationship first. Your message is very important, especially when you're talking to the person for the very first time. I have received thousands of invitations to wanted to connect with me, and some of it I've seen it very, very clear where a person are very intentional to wanting to build a relationship with me. Or second of all, they just want to get what they want, which is to get jobs insights and so forth. How you how you portray and how you put in the message will immediately have an impact whether or not if the person choose, if you're on LinkedIn, choose to reply you or accept your invitation, or if you're sending them an email, they can also choose whether or not should they reply to you or should they ignore you. So you have to be very cautious of this. My thought process, if you're connecting with them on emails on LinkedIn, first and foremost, formally introduce yourself. Tell them the intention. Why are you wanting to build relationship with them first? That's it. And wait for the person to accept the connection or reply to you. And then you may follow up with thank you. If it is Mei Fang that is accepting my invitation, I would say, hi, Mei Fang. Thank you for accepting my LinkedIn invitation. Appreciate it during this pandemic. I know you're busy, but being able to be accepting the invitation from you means a lot. Wait for the person to reply. And if the person say, hey, Lai, you're most welcome. Nice connecting with you. Then you start the conversation with them. The common mistakes that people do is that they tend to lump up everything at once. They say that, hi Meifang, this is Lai here. I'm actively looking for a job. Can you please recommend some jobs to me? These are common things that a lot of job seekers have made, and it will directly or indirectly affects you in the long run. Where if you do this, the chances of people accepting your LinkedIn invitation to connect with them or replying to your email are lower, as opposed to you wanting to build relationship with that person. Okay, so please take note of this. The best method right now is email or using social media platform like LinkedIn. If you do have friends who know HR recruiters, ask them to refer to you so that when you call them, you can always say that, hi, my name is Lai. Hope you're well, Meifang. My friend Shuba actually shared the contact with me and they actually connected me with this. So that's something that we should all take note of. I hope it will be helpful. Use the delayed gratification first before you do anything. All right. So, and by the way, Diane, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all of you that's been tuning in. Feel free if you have any follow-up questions from what we have just explained. By all means, please add on. We'll be more than happy to answer this question. All right. So that is the first thing. What is the best way? We have just answered. So let's move on to the second question, which is how do we ensure that we get a response from HR recruiters when we apply for jobs? So let me hand this question over to Shubha.
Okay, thanks, Lai. Yeah, the question is how do we ensure to get response from the HR or recruiter when we apply jobs, right? First of all, I personally feel I think this is the fundamental for every job seeker. I really highly recommend to apply for the right job. One of the key mistakes, I mean, I always see the lot of mistake a candidate make is they simply apply job. Make sure you go through the job description and also the job is fit for your profile and you have done that before and something relevant, make sure it's relevant because this is the can give a high chances to the recruiter or even the internal HR to look into your profile. For example, let's say you are a software developer and also you apply for something non-relevant. Okay, it's just written there something different skill set. For example, you're a Java developer but you apply for a software developer but they're looking for a PHP developer. So the chances of getting a call or response from the HR are very, very, very less. I mean, I don't think so they would reply because they might receive a lot of applicants, maybe 100 of applicants. So usually they will go by the keyword search. So they will filter, and then only they will get back to the certain candidate who is they find the right candidate. Mostly, for example, let's say sometimes it happens, they might miss out your profile. For example, you apply for the right job, but again the HR or recruiter didn't get back to you. Okay, there's another way. You can always approach them and also follow up in terms of what happened to your application. For example, you applied through job portal and you didn't get any response from the HR. So you can always go to the company, which company you apply. For example, your company apply for the BTC recruitment. So okay, one of the key challenges I understand, because of the pandemic, we are not able to give a call to office to check, hey, what happened to my application. But again, we have another channel, which is we can go through, we can do some research in terms of the hiring manager or the HR, who is the recruiter, a certain company. For BTC, you can go and find who is technology recruiter in BTC. Then you can find, oh, there's Shubha. So and then you can find the email address there, and also you can send them a polite email just to follow up in terms of what happened to your application. So this is another way how you can get a fast response. And also it depends on the method that you apply, whether you approach you're applying via job portal or you're applying through recruiter. So job portal, definitely it will take some time, so be patient in terms of getting a response from the HR. Give some time. Okay, so and also when you follow up, let's say they mention, sometimes you'll receive an email stated that thank you for your application in a process, it will take about 1 to 2 weeks. So let's wait for 1 to 2 weeks. For example, let's say after the time frame you didn't get any response, okay, I highly advise you can approach the relevant the HR or recruiter, just to follow up what happened to your application, whether there's any internal issue, or it takes some time, or any changes happen. So this is another way to get a fast response from the HR. Kindly do some research to find out the HR name, email address, and everything. Because when you send an email, this is a first impression. Because now we can't go directly face to face to do a first impression. Email is a first impression where you can present yourself. And make sure when you send an email to them, follow up email to get the response from the HR, kindly address the HR in a proper way, call them in a proper way, greeting them, send some greetings, and also start with you apply for a which role, and also when did you apply, and you are still waiting for the response from the HR, and also why you are interested with the role. Probably you can emphasize in that email you're interested with those because of you have a certain skill set which is matched with your profile. So in that way, HR definitely will go through, definitely they will read your email and they will come back to you if it's really relevant to what they are looking. So this is something that I highly recommend to candidate. They can use this method, to get a response.
Which is great. And I always like this, and this is a tips for most of you guys. If you are following up, if you have the HR email address and so just check with them. Hi, this is Lai here. Can I just check whether if you received my application for the position on this day? So sometimes, yes, as HR, as recruiters, we tend to miss out email. But if you ask this right, this will immediately shock the HR recruiters. Is like, okay, this person is asking. So let me check. And what I will do is that immediately, if I receive this, I will say that, okay, hi, thank you. Yes, we do receive, and let me come back to you. It is one of the most polite and yet effective way to follow up. Just check with them whether if you receive my application. That is the first one. All right. And then, Ishan, thank you very much for tuning in. And I believe that we do have a question. So let's move on to the next question first before we take a question from Najiha. So the second question is related. What is the right way to follow up with our job application? Shiva, you have some follow-up?
Exactly. In terms of the right way, right? So at this point of time, we all know we all are having an issue. We can't really contact to the company directly. Most of us are working from home. So just bear in mind that we have certain difficulties in terms of call directly to the company's office. So the only way that we can follow up is the email at the moment. Okay, so how we do follow up with this email, as I mentioned earlier, and also as Lai mentioned. So this is the good way. Start with a polite. Make sure that use a very clear subject line. Basically, subject is very, very important. You apply for which position. Make sure the subject line is clear. And also in terms of the position title, use the right position title. Okay, let's say if they written their software developer, use software developer. Don't use Java developer. We understand that maybe probably your what you are doing is your current title is Java developer. Don't use your current title. Use the title which is advertised from the role with in the portal or in any advertisement. So, and also another thing is make sure the body, okay, you greet the for example, hello hiring manager, for example, hello Lai, my name is Shubha and I submitted my application for this position, for software developer position 2 weeks ago, for example. And also I just want to make sure that you receive it, and also let me know whether let me know if my profile is shortlisted, and I just want to let you know that I'm still interested with this position because of my skill set is matched with your requirement. And also I would love to talk to you more about this opportunity. Could you please help me to get back to me, and also another additional thing, whatever that you wish that relevant, you can add it up. And also please thank them in the end of the email. And also make sure the email is proper, start with the introduction, body, and also the conclusion, like thank you and looking forward for your response. So I think this is the best way and polite way. Any recruiter, anyone, not even recruiter, anyone, if let's say it's a sales follow up, definitely the person who look at your email, right, they wanted to reply your email. Yeah, it give a, I would say, pleasant experience, right, getting such an email from candidate who was very interested to apply for your role. Yeah, I think this is the, I would say, one of the good way to, yeah, follow up.
I totally agree with you, Shiva. Making
Mm-mm.
your email as pleasant, as positive as
Mm-mm.
possible will encourage people to like what you have shared, and then
Mm.
this will also increase the chances of people replying to you on that part.
Yep.
So always start with the questions, just to clear them up. Have they received your profile? And you may add in why do you think yourself is suitable, and you may end
Mm-mm.
the session by thanking them. Thank you for reading my email. Hope to receive a reply or call from you very soon. So that is something which is perfect. Thank you, Shubha,
Yeah,
for
you're
sharing this
welcome.
over there. And thanks everyone for tuning in. So if you guys are tuning in to our LinkedIn Live, please feel free to say hello to us. We are very grateful that you are taking the precious time on this evening to be spending your time to hear what are the questions that we're going to be answering. And there is this question coming in from Najiha now that we are in this topic. So this is the question. Will it be okay if we direct the call to the HR? If instance, if we have their numbers to follow up with our application? What do you think? Shiva or Meifang, you have any things on this? Would you like to answer it? Or from my end,
Mm-mm.
over here, Najiha, this is a very valid question. And one of the common things, I believe, even before or during pandemic itself, we do receive a lot of calls coming in from candidates asking for jobs, asking for status of their CVs and so forth. And the correct way, yes, it is okay to call them, but let's set the expectation right over here. We have received a lot of calls coming in from individuals that are interested in the positions, and what they would do is that commonly they will say, "I'm interested. Can you please share my CV to the hiring manager?" So this is not the right way to approach, because why? Even though if you're interested or you have sent your CVs over to the HR recruiters, they may not have gone through it yet. So please set the expectation right. Just to follow up with them if they have received your CV. That's the first thing. And you may add in some information. I'm interested with this role because I felt that I have this information. Then allow the recruiter to respond to you and tell them if it
Mm-mm.
is a good time, let's have continue the conversation. If it is not, maybe you can let me know when is the right time for us to continue the conversation. This is one of the most perfect ideal situation that I would highly recommend to you, because a lot of the time when individuals call in, they tend to rush and they will expect the recruiters to already know and understand the series. But some of the time we have not even read through it yet. Maybe you've sent, in the next few minutes you call us and expect us to really know what your experience and have really gone through your CV. It doesn't work that way. So first, if you're calling them, check whether if they have seen your profile. Check. You can share some information with them whether why are you suitable for this role. And thirdly, most importantly, ask them if now is the right time to continue that conversation. If it is not, can they propose for a suitable time for you to have that session with them? Recruiters or HR will like it. And I rest assure you, if you do it, they will call you as soon as they're available right now or later. So I hope I answered your question over here, Najiha, on that part. So please continue. If you guys have any questions regarding on the question that we have just uh, answered that we've shared, please feel free to comment. We'll be more than happy to answer all of these questions. All right. So I hope you have gained this information. And thank you, Shubham, for answering the two questions that we have. So let's move into the fourth question, which is where I believe most job seekers are very interested to hear. How's the job market condition right now? So let's have Mei Fang perhaps to share some of this information with us.
Okay, thanks, Lai. Overall, safe to say we are still in business. And still as busy as ever, even though it's FMCO working from home. So we are still busy. So it's a good sign. And because I'm focusing on the manufacturing and engineering department, so I can only comment on this. So certain sectors like glove and semiconductor are actually booming thanks to the pandemic. So if you're involved in these industries, the market is doing quite well, and with many hirings ongoing. So there are more glove factories being set up with more and more players, and they're looking for production people from managers to technicians. And for semiconductor, as we are using more and more devices to connect with each other, we see an increase in the hiring for talent, especially in the design area. So if you're in these areas, it's a good time to explore.
Overall, so let me just add on overall in terms of job market wise, believe with MCO and with the COVID that has been actually extended to more than a year right now, I believe most companies who has been waiting to hire are proceeding with hiring. But right now, just putting an example, instead of hiring 5 positions during the normal days, now they may be looking into hiring 2 or 3 positions. That's where, even though they are hiring, they are becoming very selective. And also, as job seekers, you need to bear in mind that because of this pandemic, the job as an overall, the number of job applicants has increased tremendously. So on a normal day, on a monthly basis, when we post a job, usually we have about 30 to 40 people applying in. But during this pandemic period, for every position that we posted, we are seeing a minimum of 100 to 200 job applicants applying for the same one position. So with that, you will face stiffer competition. And from the company wise, they are going to be very selective in hiring because all of this will require time and cost. And for job seekers as well, you also need to be very mindful that you're going to be facing a lot of competitions coming in from other players. Someone could be within the same industries also. So you have to bear in mind all of this. But as an overall, I would say that most industries are still hiring, as what Nifang mentioned over there. All right, so that's the great thing. We have seen that there have been some questions coming in from our audience. So what we do is that we'll finish up the final question and then we'll start taking on some of these open questions. All right. So thank you to all of you that is commenting. Please continue. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in. We will answer them after we have reviewed the final question. So which is this. It is a good time for us to look for jobs right now. Mei Fang, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, this one, right? You need to actually ask yourself what is the motivation that makes you want to look out. And typically, this is the first question that we ask candidates. Yeah, what is the pull factor that, what is the push factor that actually makes you want to leave, and what is the pull factor that makes you want to stay in the company? So, if you are looking out, is it because of career advancement? Is it because of a better salary to cover your family due to the pandemic, or is it to your superior? So you need to have the push. So I have candidate who has asked me if the future company allows them to work from home. So if this company allows them to work from home, he's open to explore. So yeah, so these are the consideration that might come into the candidate mind. So you need to ask yourself, what is the motivation? Why are you thinking about leaving? So if there is a right job, if there is a right job for you, there is never a perfect time to switch jobs. So if you're talking about job security, I would say you can actually categorize into two. You can actually ask the recruiter whether it's a replacement role or a new role. So if it's a replacement role, so if the company is doing well, they will not. If the company is not doing well, they will not have the headcount to replace the role in the first place. So yeah, if it's a new role, you can check with the recruiter why is the role created, to have a better understanding. Is it because of relocation of the factory, so they need to hire new people, or is it because of the change of role from other regions or other countries to this country? So we will also normally
Mhm.
ask the client, how is the particular job security at the moment, so that we can answer candidates. So in order for you to have a peaceful switch, you can actually find out first whether, yeah, how secure is your new role will be. Yeah, that's my take.
Mhm. All right. This is a very good answer coming in from Yifang. And just to add on, right, and this is a common misconception when individuals going in for interview session, please bear in mind it is not just the HR recruiters or even hiring managers interviewing you. By default, you should also interview them as well. Because of by end of the day, right, this is your own career, this is the path, and if it is something important, good question that you want to ask, like what Mifang mentioned earlier on, job securities and so forth, please feel free to address them. And at the end of the day, right, when all of the information has been gathered and you feel very comfortable and you feel like this is the right opportunity, go ahead. Because a lot of people always have the mistakes is that if I go in for interview, they are interviewing me and I have to accept the job that's been offered. No, it doesn't work that way. You take the opportunity to also interview them. And based on the information, make that decision, the wise decision for yourself. So that is the additional add-ons that I would like to share with you. So in a nutshell, the 5 questions that we have just gone through over here, we really, really hope that it's going to be very, very valuable to you guys. And thanks to all of you that's been tuning in and believe that there has been some questions coming in from the audience. So let's quickly address them. So by first, Najia, you're most welcome. Thank you for posting such a good question over here, which I believe most of the audience will benefit from that. So the second question is actually coming in from Rajib. Sorry, it's coming in from Rajib, which is suppose I'm a Java developer, but I'm interested in working as a PHP developer. Would HR consider my application despite the skill mismatch? All right. So Shubha, do you want to take on this question?
Yep. Later, maybe you can add on. Yeah, for this question, right? Okay, first of all, it depends on the company, whether the hiring manager and also the company willing to take a Java developer and also teach you a new skill set. Okay, because when they create certain role, right, we need to understand whether the role is a replacement role, as Meifang mentioned, the purpose of the role. Let's say for replacement role, definitely they want someone who already are doing that job, so they don't have the the luxury time to give you training for the new skill set, new technology that you wanted to learn. But again, it's not a, I mean, I didn't say it's wrong. I mean, you can't apply for the different role if you want to switch career. There are certain company are giving opportunity for candidates who want to do switch career. So there are certain hiring manager that I've met before. They don't mind if the candidate is interested to learn new technology. Okay, they are certain. It depends. I won't say it's no, but it depends on the hiring manager. So even though we can always check with the HR whether the hiring manager is willing to look at your profile that you are interested to learn new skill set. But again, it depends on the company whether they are willing to give you training, and also it depends on the hiring manager. I think this is the thing. I mean, answer for myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Understand on that. Thank you, Shubha. Just to add
Mm,
on this, Rajiv, is that during this period, there are three important skills that you need to have. First is new skill. That's where you need to learn new skills like yourself. It is really good that you have experience in Java development. Now you are looking forward to pursue a career in PHP development. So first and foremost, for me myself as a recruiter, I'm definitely very interested to see what are some of the new skills that you have picked up for the past few years. That's first. And second of all, what are the skills that you have up? So upscaling. Upscaling is another skills that you need to look into, which should be highlighted in your CV on that part. It means that what have you done, the effort that you have put in order to improve the skills that you have already have right now. And the last but not least is reskill. So from there, if you notice that some of your skill
mm-mm,
sets are not relevant in the industry where you wanted to adapt, so how are you doing it? So there are three things: new skill, upskill, and reskill. Put it into your CV. Because the common
mm-mm,
mistakes a lot of people make is that they're just putting in what are the common jobs or what are the tasks that they're doing in their current job. But they have not shown anything in terms of how flexible are you, what are some of the key things that you have done differently, and how well are you in terms of adapting or learning new skills and technologies. Trust me, if you put it in your CV, you will basically gain a lot of positive response coming in from HR and recruiters. Because the common mistake is this: whatever that you put it in is just what you're doing right now, and you're trying to do something different. And there's nothing showing me how adaptable, how are you going to be able to pursue these new skills? Because it's not saying over there. And
mm-mm,
unless if I have interest, and that's where when I wanted to speak to you, then I will give you the call. But most of the HR right now, because of lack of resource, they may not be having that luxury to give calls to every candidate. As I mentioned, we have our surplus of 100 to 200 candidates on a regular basis, and this is just for one role. Imagine if a HR recruiter is having 8 to 10 different roles or even 20 roles running. They could be screening to thousands of 2,000s of CVs at one go. So if you really wanted to make sure that you get shortlisted, please put in what I've just shared with you earlier on. I hope it helps over here. All right. Thank you for the good question here, Rajiv. The second question coming in from Farus. Hi, Lai. Hope everyone is doing okay. Just a quick question. What is the best way to give negative answer to a persistent recruiter looking to hire you? I had the experience recently where I have declined a few offers due to other commitments. Okay. Cyrus, good evening to you as well. Honestly, not to brag, but it seems like you are basically one of the sought after talents that a lot of recruiters seems to wanted to help you. Anyone who wants to answer this, how would you basically give a negative answer to a recruiters who are looking to connect you with opportunities? Anyone wants to help answer this question? Or Mei
I think for me, right, the best way is to give referrals. Yeah. If you have friends or colleagues who you think suits the job, yeah, it's always good to share them with the recruiter, so that at least he or she has options to call, especially if you say you are so. I mean, this job is so niche, or looking for a certain skill set. So yeah,
Mhm.
if you can refer someone to the recruiter, I think he won't bug you anymore lah. Yeah,
Okay, someone that is as good as you are, and that
yeah,
is actually interested to pursue the opportunity. I think that would be a quick answer. And another good things about it is that I think first and foremost, Farouz, you need to understand whether if this recruiters is genuinely wanted to build relationship with you, or is just wanted to get you going for that job. And if you have, and you have to be very careful in terms of identifying these recruiters, because I've seen a lot of recruiters. What they do is they just wanted to make sure that they find the right candidate and just want to make a placement. But if the recruiters is genuinely wanting to work with you, wanting to build relationship, even though you say no to them on that part, and they say understood, maintaining that distance and wanted to focus on building long-term relationship, that is something that we have. But if he or she is extremely persistent, continue bugging you for the same role, even though you say they're not interested, then you just have to set the expectations that if that's the case, there's no point for me to continue that conversation with you anymore or wanted to build relationship because it seems like you're not hearing me over there. This will be an awakening call to the recruiters, and from right onwards, they will say, uh, okay, maybe I pushed so hard. I'll need to put on my feet on the pedal and just let us have that safe distance. And last but not least, if you have, like what Mayfell mentioned earlier, a referral, please feel free to refer to them so that they can connect with the right person, and hopefully they can help that person to get that placement, to get a career switch. So that would be my answer. So setting the expectation with the recruiter on that part. Okay, I hope I answered this question to you on that. And I think there's a follow-up questions from Rajit is that how do I write a good resume? There are so many guides online, but what do recruiters want to see in a resume? And first and foremost, we need to be able to make that clarification. All right, a resume, it's a summary of your experience, and usually it's being conveyed in one page. So you have to be very clear on that. A CV is a detailed version of your experience. Usually, it's more than 2 pages or more. Okay, so you have to be very clear on this first, Rajib. Sorry, I need to correct you on this. The difference between a resume and as well as a CV over here. I know there are many guides over there, but at the end of the day, right? And this is very similar to a bookstore. When you go to any bookstore, MPH bookstore, popular bookstores, if you go to any topics like self-help improvement, cookings, feng shui, and things, there are hundreds of books, hundreds of authors that are selling something different, and they are different price, different cover letter, different content, and so forth. And for you, what makes you stand out? So that is the first question that you need to ask yourself. What makes you stand out compared to the rest? Because a lot of the time when a person writes a CV, you only benchmark yourself. And I always say this, when you're writing a CV, just imagine there are 50 other competitors wanting that same job as what you are looking at right now. How would you do it differently? So that is basically the first thing that you need to look into. There are a lot of guides when it comes over to CV. Most of them that templates, different font, different templates, and so. But the way how they write the content makes a difference. And if you were to ask me, we have basically conducted more than 10 CRM workshops. This itself is a half a day workshop, and I won't be able to answer it in a few minutes. But what I would give you a short tip: just imagine yourself if you're in a bookstore in this same categories where you have 50 to 100 people over there. How do you make yourself stand out? That is more important. So don't just look into templates, but look at the content over there. And as what we mentioned on the first questions over there, your skills, your new skills, up skills, and reskills, highlight those things in your CV. And this will increase your visibility and also HR recruiters calling you right away. So I hope that will answer your question over there. Okay. So I think Pokhao also may have answered that question as well. Thank you, Pokhao, for answering those questions over. So 4 pages of CVs on that part, it is a no deal. So at the end of the day, let me just clarify this. It's not an issue to have 4 pages or more. Personally, myself, I have placed many candidates with over 8, 10, or even 20 pages. As long as you have the right information in there, it's okay. A lot of people having this skepticism is that I shouldn't have CVs more than 2 pages or 3 pages or 4 pages. That is nonsense. If you feel that you're writing good content, stick with it. As I mentioned to you, put in the right
Mm,
information and then put yourself in the competition how you want yourself to stand out. Don't get too dispersed about 4 page, 3 page. But the ideal is anywhere within 3 to 5 pages. Even with myself with 16 years over experience, my CVs is about 4 page or so. It's fine. All right. So don't get too distracted with the number of pages. That would be the things I want to share with you here. Okay. So ask me, ask this question. Hi all, just a question. Will recruiter consider a candidate having a short duration or gap to work experience? If yes, what is the acceptable answers are they looking for? Anyone wants to answer this? Shiva or Mika?
mm. There's a short gap, right? I mean, short duration or gap in working experience. Okay, actually, Candy, I mean, recruiters or HR, right? They will definitely look into this relevant CV if they are applying for a right job. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand that when you have a gap, right, definitely it will create a question why there's a gap. What have you done? Okay, let's see if you have a very good reason for the gap. For example, you took some career break, right? For example, you have something to do, finish your education, or even some have taken some gap. Whether, like, for example, for a ladies, for example, they get some gap for after giving birth. So there are some gap. We understand actually. Okay, now you are fit to come back to work. So you can always can give a, I will say, if you give a very relevant or reason for the gap, definitely the HR or recruiter will look into your profile. So gap is not something I will say is a downfall or is a negative part of the profile. You still can have a gap, but just to make sure the gap is for something good reason. It's not something that you have done something else. For example, after for this particular, you want to try new thing, and then after you try new thing, it didn't happen, and then you come back, you still the HR still able to accept the things. Okay, it's just the reason that you're giving, what kind of reason that you're giving. Or maybe you just wanted to try a new business, and then your business didn't went through well, and then you want to come back to the full-time job. So they are still candidates. We still look into the this kind of CVs. So feel free, I mean, apply for the job, but make sure you have a, I would say, strong reason to apply for a job. Strong reason, and also give and also make the recruiter or HR believe in you that you are now you are fit for the job. And maybe within this gap, right, you might taken up some courses to upskill, for example, to brush up your skill, because it has been some time. Okay, maybe you have a gap, like 1 year gap, maybe you have take certain courses or certain things just to upgrade yourself. So maybe you can then add it on in your CV. Yeah, definitely you will have a high chances. Yeah. Yeah, anything
Mhm.
else like you would like to add on this question?
Okay. So just to add on, thank you, Shubha. It's
Mm,
really, really good thing. So first and foremost, Asni, we all, for me, myself, I always believe in honesty and transparency on that part.
mm, mm,
Because oftentimes we have candidates that is basically having employment gaps because of VSS, MSS, retrenchment, their family members, or even today itself, I've spoken to an individual where the son wasn't feeling well, and thus the person actually have an employment gap of a year to look after the son. These are totally acceptable. And what we want to do right now is that we want to avoid individuals that are not being transparent. And we have seen many cases where the person has left the company, but they still put in terms of their CV itself, that they're still working in the company. And then issue comes in when during background check, during reference check, the recruiters or the third party agencies found out that, hey, the person has left this company. And this would be a red flag, and it will directly affect your reputation. Or if the person have joined the company and subsequently within 2 to 3 months have left but decided not to put it in their CV, don't do it. Because the industry is very small. Just imagine in Malaysia itself, we only have about 30 over million population. Chances are we may know each other, HR may talk to each other, and who knows down the road, and someone will say, hey, I thought you have joined this company for a short period. And if someone were to highlight this, and this has happened before, and right away the person's in terms of the trust level has gone down from 100% to less than 20%. So don't ever do it. So the keywords is always being transparent and being very honest. It's totally fine to have work employment gaps, and please feel free to explain them in your CV. And the common things that a lot of people do is that, what if I have 2 to 3 employment gaps, especially like myself, I have over 15 years of experience or even 20 years of experience. It would be not uncommon where individuals may have two employment gaps in the past and especially doing right now. But if you want to, make the effort to explain, because the problem is that people don't
Yep.
explain, and when there's 2 employment gaps, as HR recruiters, we may have some internal thinking inside, and then says, "Oh, what is actually happening with this person?" Although the person is good, but there's 2 employment gaps, doesn't sound right. It's okay. I still have about 99 CVs waiting for me to review. Then we stack your CVs aside. So don't do it. So if you think that is the right thing, put it in your CV, explain, so that you won't have the doubts. We can immediately read and understand it right away.
Mm.
Okay, so that would be the key things for me to add on over there. I think we have Kok Hao that is being very helpful in terms of answering some of the things with templates. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And we have this question from Jean. Our resume should have job description or achievement, or we can have both. Okay, just to share with you again, Jean, is that earlier on when I mentioned over to Rajiv, there's a misconception between resume and CV. So you have to be very clear. If it is real resume is a summary of your experience and usually is being represented with a 1 page. A CV stands for curriculum title, is a in-depth version of your experience. Usually it's more than 2 pages and above. So you have to be very clear on this over there. And your question, should we have uh, I don't think that you should have job description, because when you're doing job description, you're just putting what you're doing over there, which doesn't make the CV stands out over there. But I believe that you should put in what you're doing and what values that you're bringing to your current organization with what you're doing on a daily basis right now, instead of just putting job description. Description means that my job is to carry my phone every day. But what is the impact of you carrying this phone? What is the impact to the business? And what is the ROI that's been generated? People want to see that. Because too many people say that my role is to look after the server, my role is to develop software. But what is the impact of you doing this? And how can you actually indirectly or directly create revenues or stream of recognitions coming in from your employers? And please, yes, please highlight your achievements in your CV as well. Please do it on that part. Okay? So I hope we answered this question over there. And Rati, thank you very much. I can't see it over here, but hello to you. And next one, Rajiv, should I put reference in my resume? Who should I put? Colleagues, direct manager, HR exec? Maybe Meifang, you may want to answer this.
In the initial first CV, references are not necessary. For me, it's not necessary because it is only when you make it to the last level of offer that references are needed, and we need to call for reference check. So during that time, the HR or the recruiter will once again confirm who are your referees. So yeah, in the first CV that you send, you can put, or it is not necessary to put as well. So if you want to put, it's better to put your direct superior, whether it is from the previous company or the current company. So if you're not comfortable with the current company superior, then you put the previous company. So because most companies would want references from superiors instead of the same level colleagues.
Mhm.
So yeah, superiors or someone who is higher level than you.
Someone who can give you feedback on your work performance over that. And very important, if you decide that you want to put referees into your CV, please check with them whether if it's okay to have them and alert them that you have already mentioned that you have applying for this position and you have them. Because there are a lot of cases where when a recruiters or HR make a call to the referees and the referee is caught by surprise that I didn't know that this individual has put me as a reference and it caught me by surprise. They didn't mention what job is that. So when this happens, right, immediately the whole reference check session is not going to be very productive. It's not going to be very good. So if you decide, it's always up to you, as what Mihal mentioned. Usually it's till offer stage where HR recruiters will call the referee. But if you decide that you want to include in your CV, it's fine. But make sure that you always keep your referee alert what position that you're going for, so that when he or she receive a call from HR recruiters, they are not caught by surprise. And it happened before. And right away, this doesn't sound pleasant at all. So please take note of this. Okay? On that part. Thank you for that question. And let's take on this last question coming in from Sachin. Hi, Sachin. What if the reason of leaving the previous job is due to people in organizations unable to work well with colleagues from the same department, same team? How can we share this to the recruiters or hiring managers? Thanks. Okay, so this part. We need to clarify first whether if you are putting it in the CV or it is during a job interview session. Any one of you guys, Shubham, Mifang, you may want to answer this or how? Anyone? If not, then what I would normally do, right, is that you have to remember this. Everything is based on first impression on that part over there. As much as possible, in terms of organizations, if it is something that is not working well and so forth, what I would always do is that leave it when you're being shortlisted for interview session and you can actually share this. Try not to be too negative when it comes over to this because sometimes it may cause backfire on that part. So it's always good to be transparent, but in terms of what we should look at, in terms of it, is that I would avoid people putting all of this information in the CV because sometimes people may perceive it negatively on that part because I haven't spoken to you yet. But if I've spoken to you during a phone call session or you're being invited for interview, the hiring managers or HR asks you, Sachin, why did you leave your previous organization? Then you may share. But always put it in a positive manners that perhaps it didn't work out with the company. That's why we decided to part ways professionally. And that's where from there onwards, when I actually do the research, emphasize why are you here today, as opposed to why did you leave the company, because that's already a past history. So we do not want to delve too much on what happened. You be transparent. Why did you leave the company? But I think it's even more important to show your character and to do your homework. Why are you here interviewing in this company right now? What do you like about the company? What are the homeworks that you've done? And why do you think that you're suitable for this position? I think as a hiring managers, interviewers, or HR, I'll be very happy to hear that. So briefly mention the reason why and immediately move on to why you're here interviewing today. Okay, so I hope this will be beneficial for you on that part. And please try as much as possible. Don't put it in the CV because it may be viewed negatively, especially when you don't have the opportunity to highlight or discuss it with the HR recruiters. All right, they may just toss it aside because wow, this is quite negative. Put it aside first. All right, so don't avoid these mistakes. Okay, so thank you for that question. Last question for today: CV versus resume. Which one should be prepared? Do you need both? I'll leave it. Shubha, Mekong, do you want to answer that? Do you need two CVs? Do you need CV and resume?
Like what Lai mentioned just now, just CV will do. Yeah, resume is not necessary. Just a CV with your responsibilities and achievements and a summary. Yeah, that will do. And also, you do not need a cover letter. So normally that is the common question: do we need a cover letter? So yeah, no need cover letter, no need resume, just a proper CV. Handcrafted CV, something that you have spent time on, that will do.
Over there. Thank you. So that will answer your question here. So CV will do. We don't need both. But since you are a developer, if you want to, what I would do is that you may actually put in some of the work that you have done. You may zip it and you may share it over with some of the links. If you have done any part-time development job using Java, or who knows, you have been doing part-time programming in PHP, put it in
Mm-mm.
as as part of your portfolio. I would say that is even more powerful as opposed to doing a CV or cover letter over there. So what I would suggest is that have your CV. If you're a really hardcore programmer, I used to be a .NET developer. I'm still doing some development every now and then, and so forth. So put in your portfolio, and especially if you are looking to have an opportunity to go to PHP development, my take for you is that do part-time freelancing or even just take the initiative to build some websites or application using PHP, Laravel, and so forth. This would be very impressive and put it as a separate file as a portfolio. I think that would be even better. Okay, so I hope that we have answered this question. Thank you very much, Razik. You're most welcome, Sachin. Thank you very much to all of you that's tuning in today. It's been a very, very good productive session. In fact, that we actually budgeted 8:30 to 8:45, but because of this, so many good questions
Oh.
coming from you guys, and now it's almost coming to 9 o'clock over here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to end our session for today. And what we're going to do is that on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, we're going to be having some of these sessions again with other topics. And if some of you
Mm-mm.
guys would have some questions, feel free to comment after the link over here, or you may always send an email to us. My email is available. It's always available on my LinkedIn profile. Please feel free to check and get my email address. You may address those questions. If you think these are good questions, what we do is that during our next video, we will feature them so that we will be able to benefit. Everyone can benefit from this as we share, and then you can ask questions, and we will continue to basically elaborate from that. Okay, so thank you everyone for tuning in. Stay safe, stay positive, and we look forward to connect with you guys on a weekly basis and with on that. So thank you everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Stay safe.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.